John Lusk here of Lusk Archery Adventures. Serious testing, successful hunting. Today I'm going to be testing another model of the Wedgehead. Okay, I first tested Wedgehead a few years ago when they came out, and I really liked them. But now they've come out with an improved machined version that's even way better. And I tested the 125 grain vented model a little while ago. Now I'm going to be testing the solid 175 grain model. This is a beast of a broadhead. So we're gonna check it out in just a minute, but I'm going to be using my test regimen for 2025. And for a detailed description of that, please check out the video I posted earlier this year called 2025 Broadhead Test Process, and I'll explain it all to you in just a few minutes. And for most of the shooting, I'm using my new Elite Carbon Eon bow that I'm loving. And for the flight testing, I'm using my Killer Instinct Logix, their brand new line of crossbows. And for all the shooting, I'm using a Bishop Archery arrows and bolts. All right, let's zoom on in here, check out this Wedgehead 175 grain, and then put it to the test. Here's a good look at a solid version of the Wedgehead, and man, this is a beast of a broadhead. Let me tell you, it can look pretty simple, but there's a lot that's gone into this design. First of all, let me start with the materials. It's machined out of a single chunk of 1045 carbon steel. That's a high carbon tool steel, and it's brought to a Rockwell hardness of 52. So it's going to have a good resistance to impact as well as hold its edge well. And then the dimensions of this are, its main blade here is 1 1/4 inches. So 1.25 inches this way, and then with these wedge kind of blades that are really sharp, they're sharpened in this model, this newer models for this year. That has a cut of 9/16 of an inch, so just over half an inch. So the total cut is 1.81 inches of material you're cutting there. Now this is a solid, like I said earlier, I tested the 125 grain, I think it was, that had a vented design to it. This just fills in the vent, and basically everything else is the same, but I will say it makes it much quieter in flight to have it non-vented and solid like this. Now another thing that's really important to note is they call it the Wedgehead because, man, it's a wedge in many different dimensions. I mean, you got the wedge cutting like that, but then you also have this wedge that's like cutting the bone, prying the bone apart this way, but then the blade itself is thinner at the tip than it is at the back. And so it's actually helping to pry bone or pry material apart as well. So it's an edge in that dimension too. And the blades are really thick. The thickest point they come out to 0.13 inches in the back right there. 0.13 inches. That's like, it might be the thickest I know. Super thick, but it starts narrower and it gets wider in the back, and it's thinner in the middle, and then where it gets like it's more important to have durability, it gets wider, it gets thicker at the back. So it comes to that peak of 0.13 inches, starting narrower, prying the bone apart, prying the tissue apart, prying it apart that way, prying it apart and cutting it that way. Just really exceptional design that I think is going to be it's going to open up a really nice wound channel. I'd really love to test it and put it through something just to see how it does in that. They come out to the price just $25 a head, which for this kind of steel and this design is actually really good. $25 a head, and you can use my discount code LUSK10, LUSK10, to save 10% on any order. For resharpening, I would use the Stay Sharp Guide, The Answer. It's called The Answer. That's kind of their catch-all. It's a brand new guide they have that is, when in doubt, it probably will sharpen any broadhead you have. But for this one, that would be the best one to use. Really eager to put this heavy Wedgehead to the test and see how it performs. The Wedgehead got the 10 ring. It took 195 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 10 on a 10-point scale, plus a proportional bonus for being under the threshold of 200. It penetrated 8 inches. It penetrated through 53 layers, which is a 7.57 on a 10-point scale. The head's in excellent shape after the 3 shots through the MDF. And here it is after the 2 shots through the steel plate. You can really hardly tell the broadhead has ever even been shot. And then if you look at the holes, man, they're really impressive holes, especially in the ends of each of the holes. You can see the thickness of the steel. Rather than that coming to a really fine point like most holes do, it's got a really thick, wide point at each end, which is going to make it very difficult for those wounds in tissue to close up. Here it is after all the durability testing. Spins perfectly well, and the only real damage is there's a little bit of a nick here in one of the blades from the concrete, and man, it penetrated pretty deeply into that concrete, and it must have hit something really hard right there to make that nick. But other than that, man, the head is in really good condition. Even the edges feel sticky, like still kind of sharp. So what'd you think? Gosh, it just did not disappoint at all. It got an incredible score, performed really well. I mean, I just love this broadhead. I mean, it is a wicked, devastating broadhead. Great design. So, hey, you check out the score sheet and see how it performed in the areas that matter to you the most, and see if it might be a good fit for you and your hunting needs. And stay tuned for the overall cumulative score, as well as the corresponding Lusk grade. And also stay tuned for a list of all the discount codes that I can offer just to help you save some money, like the Wedgehead. EL&B Outdoors, they make the Wedgehead. You type in Lusk10 and you save 10% on anything they sell. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you next time.